Heavenly Father, in your sacred presence, we place ourselves at this moment. Our hearts seek your light, and our souls yearn for your guidance, especially concerning the bonds that unite us to one another. We inhabit a world where human connections are tested in myriad ways, where misunderstandings can flourish, and where distance, both physical and emotional, can settle like a veil between us and those we hold dear. The pursuit of blessed relationships, those that mirror your unconditional love, your patience, and your understanding, is an ongoing journey, often fraught with seemingly insurmountable challenges. We know that you are the God of all relationships, the creator of familial ties, deep friendships, and marital love. You have commanded us to love our neighbor as ourselves, an ideal we often struggle to attain amidst our own imperfections and frailties. There are times when we feel lost in the labyrinth of human emotions, when words wound rather than heal, when actions seem distant from our desires, when expectations go unmet, and silence becomes an abyss of uncertainty. It is in this landscape, Father, that we seek your transformative touch. We are not here to petition for perfect relationships, for we know that perfection resides in you alone. Rather, we seek the grace to navigate imperfections, to find beauty in fragility, and to build bridges of understanding where walls once stood. Our intention is to cultivate in our relationships the essence of your love, a love that is patient, that is kind, that does not envy, that does not boast, that is not proud, that is not self-seeking, that is not easily angered, that keeps no record of wrongs, that does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth, that always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. This is the truth we aspire to live, the reality that, with your help, we wish to manifest in every interaction, whether it be spouses, children, parents, siblings, friends, or colleagues. Each relationship carries immense potential to glorify your name, to be a reflection of your kingdom on earth. Yet, we also recognize the potential for hurt, disillusionment, and estrangement when these bonds are devoid of your wisdom and your love. Our own actions and words, sometimes spoken without thought, sometimes born of a wounded heart, can create fissures that are difficult to mend. And even when our intentions are good, our limited humanity can lead us to falter, to stumble, and to hurting those we cherish. Therefore, we cry out to you, Lord. In a world that often prizes individualism and self-preservation, it is easy to forget the importance of nurturing and protecting the relationships entrusted to us. We need to learn to look beyond appearances, to see others through the eyes of compassion, to offer forgiveness with the same generosity with which we receive it from you. The path to blessed relationships is not one of self-sufficiency, but rather one of total dependence on you, the only one who truly knows each heart. It is in this spirit of humility and trust that we embark on this journey of prayer, seeking your divine intervention. We ask that your Holy Spirit guide us in every word, every thought, and every action we undertake in our relationships. May your presence be the foundation upon which we build trust, respect, and mutual love. May your truth dismantle the lies and doubts that may arise, and may your light dispel the darkness of misunderstanding and resentment. We are ready to be molded by your loving hands, to be taught by your eternal wisdom, to experience the fullness of the relationships you desire for us. Lord our God, human experience shows us that communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. However, the ability to articulate our thoughts and feelings clearly, respectfully, and effectively is a skill that often eludes us. How often, due to a lack of attentive listening, have we failed to grasp the essence of the message directed at us, responding merely to the surface of words? Developing the capacity to listen not just with our ears, but with our hearts, understanding underlying emotions and unexpressed needs, is a continuous learning process that leads us to a deeper level of connection. Thus, we implore your grace to make us more patient and insightful listeners, those who truly seek to understand before being understood. Furthermore, verbal expression, when devoid of empathy, can become a weapon capable of inflicting deep wounds. It is easy, in the hustle and bustle of daily life, or under the impact of intense emotion, to utter harsh words, destructive criticism, or accusations that erect insurmountable barriers. We therefore need divine wisdom to modulate our tone, choose our words with care, and express our own needs and frustrations constructively without assigning blame or disqualifying the other. May your hand guide us so that instead of attacking, we choose to edify. Instead of condemning, we choose to welcome with love and truth. Another crucial layer in building solid relationships lies in the capacity to manage conflicts healthily. Disagreements are inevitable, as each individual possesses their own perspective and unique experiences. What distinguishes a resilient relationship from one that succumbs to pressure is how these divergences are addressed. Instead of viewing conflict as a battle to be won, we must learn to see it as an opportunity for mutual growth, for deepening understanding, and for strengthening bonds. Forgiveness, Father, is the bridge that allows us to cross the abyss created by a misunderstanding, and the generosity in forgiving, in removing the weight of resentment, is fundamental to the restoration of peace and intimacy. Let us now consider the vital importance of reciprocity and mutual care. Relationships are not one-way streets. They flourish when there is a balanced flow of support, affection, and consideration. Actions that demonstrate our care for the well-being of the other, even in small gestures, a sincere compliment, a friendly shoulder to lean on, unsolicited help, weave a fabric of emotional security that strengthens connections. However, when one party feels perpetually overwhelmed or ignored, the flame of the relationship begins to diminish. We ask, Lord, that you teach us to cultivate this attitude of service and to recognize the needs of the other, responding with promptness and genuine love, so that our relationships may be a living testament to your selfless love. At this moment, let us turn our gaze to the importance of individual appreciation and recognition within relationships. Every person who crosses our path brings with them a unique story, specific gifts, and a particular way of seeing the world. Frequently, in our pursuit of relational harmony, we run the risk of diluting the individuality of the other in favor of superficial unity, or of focusing excessively on our own needs, failing to see and celebrate the singular qualities that make each being special. The absence of genuine recognition can lead to feelings of invisibility and devaluation, undermining the trust and affection that are the foundation of any lasting bond. Thus, we ask, O God of infinite wisdom, that you grant us the insight to identify and appreciate the talents, the unique virtues and contributions of each person in our lives, thereby strengthening individuality within unity. Let us now imagine a garden where each flower, with its distinct color and form, contributes to the beauty of the whole. If we attempted to make all flowers identical, the garden would lose its richness and originality. Similarly, in our relationships, celebrating differences, far from being an obstacle, is what enriches and strengthens connection. This extends to how we express appreciation. A simple, sincere thank you, a specific compliment on a demonstrated skill, or a gesture that validates a personal achievement can profoundly impact another's self-esteem and sense of belonging. Instead of merely thanking someone for their presence, let us focus on thanking their essence, the unique way of being and acting that they embody. Beyond verbal recognition, demonstrating gratitude through concrete actions further solidifies bonds. When we dedicate time to support someone's personal projects, or when we celebrate their professional or academic victories, we communicate that we value their journey and aspirations. Perhaps your loved one has an artistic hobby they are passionate about. An invitation to attend an exhibition or an appreciative comment on a created piece can mean far more than generic words of encouragement. Likewise, when a colleague demonstrates a particular competence in solving a complex problem, publicly acknowledging that skill not only values them, but also fosters a more positive and collaborative work environment. Additionally, gratitude predisposes us to an attitude of generosity, which is crucial for the health of relationships. When we recognize the value and efforts of others, we become more inclined to offer our own support, time, and resources without expecting immediate reciprocation. This attitude of selfless giving builds a virtuous cycle of generosity and mutual appreciation. It is like an investment in a precious asset. The more gratitude and recognition we invest, the stronger and more enduring the relationship becomes. May we therefore be instruments of your blessing, radiating appreciation and recognition that nourish and sustain the bonds that unite us, reflecting your generous love in every interaction. Lord, In our pursuit of blessed relationships, a paramount yet often overlooked aspect is the ability to manage expectations. Frequently, we project onto our loved ones who we wish they were, or how we wish them to act under certain circumstances, without, however, having clear and honest communication about these expectations. This gap between what we project and the other's reality can generate bitter disappointments and a sense of mutual misunderstanding. We must learn to discern between an inspiring vision and an implicit demand, seeking to align our hopes with the individuality and capacity of each person. Returning to this reflection, it is fundamental to recognize that it is not always possible to meet all expectations, whether they are ours or those of people around us. Life is dynamic, and circumstances change. A friend who at one point in life could dedicate ample time to friendship may later face new professional or family responsibilities that restrict this availability. Similarly, a spouse may go through a period of transition or learning that prevents them from responding to certain emotional needs immediately. Facing these realities with flexibility and empathy, rather than rigidity and frustration, is a sign of relational maturity. Consequently, it is imperative that we cultivate the art of open and honest dialogue about what we expect and what we can offer. This requires vulnerability to express our needs, and also humility to accept that we will not always be able to satisfy all demands. Openly sharing what motivates us, what brings us joy, and what our limits are is not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of trust that strengthens the foundations of the relationship. This transparent communication creates a safe space where expectations can be negotiated and adjusted, preventing future resentments. Additionally, it is crucial that we develop the capacity for relational self-assessment. From time to time, we should ask ourselves, are my expectations regarding this relationship realistic? Are they based on genuine love and the desire for mutual well-being, or on a selfish longing for validation or control? It is an exercise that calls us to introspection and course correction, allowing us to discern whether we are contributing to an environment of growth and support, or if we are inadvertently imposing unnecessary burdens on the other. This constant reflection brings us closer to more balanced and healthy relationships. In summary, managing expectations in relationships is a continuous learning journey that demands clear communication, flexibility in the face of change, and deep self-analysis. When we align our hopes with reality, express our needs with transparency, and accept inherent limitations, human condition, we build more resilient, rewarding, and above all, blessed relationships, reflecting your grace in our interactions. Lord, in our pursuit of blessed relationships, a paramount yet often overlooked aspect is the art of reconciliation and restoration after conflict. Life, in its essence, is a continuous flow of interactions and disagreements, hurts, and wounds will inevitably arise. The crucial question is not whether conflict will occur, but how we react to it, and whether we are willing to tread the path of repair. The initiative to ask for forgiveness, even when we believe that forgiveness is involved or the willingness to offer forgiveness when we are the ones wronged, demonstrates a level of spiritual maturity and a profound commitment to the health of the relationship. Let us now consider the subtle dynamic of conflict. It is not merely about uttering the word sorry or forgiving. Genuine reconciliation requires an acknowledgement of the pain caused, humility to admit one's own error, and a practical demonstration that we have learned from it. For instance, if in a moment of stress we utter harsh words to a family member, a generic apology is insufficient. True reconciliation might involve an additional gesture of affection, an attempt to understand the impact of our words on the other, or even an effort to change our behavior in similar situations in the future. The absence of this acknowledgement and consequential action can leave the wound open, preventing complete healing. At the same time, the ability to forgive, even when the hurt seems profound and the injustice glaring, is a direct reflection of the grace we receive from you. Understanding that forgiveness is not forgetting what happened, but rather releasing the right to hold on to resentment and opening space for restoration transforms the dynamic of conflict. Consider the situation of a friend who, through carelessness or lack of consideration, shared confidential information. The pain of betrayed trust can be immense. However, if we choose the path of forgiveness, we are, in fact, releasing ourselves from the heavy burden of bitterness and allowing the possibility of a future built on trust to be reconstructed. step by step. Along these same lines, the necessity of cultivating an environment of emotional safety for vulnerability is non-negotiable. When the fear of judgment or rejection looms over a relationship, true intimacy is stifled. Individuals retreat, hide their flaws, and mask their true emotions, creating a facade that hinders authentic connection. We must, therefore, cultivate the courage to be transparent about our imperfections, while simultaneously providing a safe harbor for others to do the same. Thus, the practice of reassuming responsibility, rather than blaming another or circumstances, is a cornerstone of restoration. When we accept our part in a disagreement, however small, we open the door to a more productive and less defensive dialogue. It is an invitation for the other party to also open up, and together, to find a way forward. This proactive stance in seeking healing, in working to mend broken or weakened bonds, is a tangible manifestation of the love we profess, a living testament to your transformative capacity in our lives and relationships. Holy Father, as we deepen our understanding of blessed relationships, a new horizon unfolds, that of resilience and shared growth in the face of adversity. Life does not only present moments of tranquility, but also storms that test the foundations of our connections. It is precisely in these turbulent times that the true strength of a bond is revealed, not in the absence of problems, but in the mutual capacity to overcome them, emerging stronger and more united. Perseverance in seeking solutions, even when the path seems arduous and energy wanes, is a testament to the commitment we desire to nurture. Consider now how this resilience manifests in practice. In everyday situations that challenge harmony, let us imagine a couple facing unexpected financial difficulties, such as job loss. Instead of succumbing to anxiety and blame, focusing on the problem, they can choose to join forces, reevaluate priorities, seek new opportunities together, and offer each other unwavering emotional support. This ability to rise again, to find hope in adversity through collaboration and mutual encouragement, is what transforms a crisis into a catalyst for relationship growth. Furthermore, trust, which we have mentioned in other contexts, gains an even more critical dimension when discussing overcoming challenges. Trust is not limited to believing in the honesty of the other, but extends to the conviction that, together, you are capable of facing and overcoming obstacles. This shared faith in your capacity as a unit allows vulnerability to flourish, as each one knows that the other will be present to offer support, even when the situation seems bleak. It is this trust that allows for an open sharing of fears and uncertainties, without the dread of being judged or abandoned. Another fundamental pillar for relational resilience lies in flexibility and adaptability. The world is in constant flux, and the circumstances that affect our lives are too. The people we love evolve, change interests, face new phases of personal and professional development. An inflexible relationship, one that insists on maintaining things as they were, is destined to become obsolete and consequently to suffer. Conversely, the ability to adjust to new realities, to rediscover common interests, or to support each other's individual journeys with understanding and openness is essential for the longevity and health of the bond. Consider, for example, a group of friends who, after years of close companionship, find themselves distanced by different professional and geographical paths. Instead of lamenting the loss of physical proximity, they can choose to adapt the way they maintain contact, utilizing technology for regular video conferences, organizing annual get-togethers, or even supporting each other's new social circles. This adaptation of friendship dynamics, without sacrificing the essence of affection and respect, demonstrates remarkable resilience. Consequently, resilience does not arise from the absence of difficulties, but from the intentional way we choose to respond to them. It is a continuous process of learning, adjusting, and reaffirming mutual commitment. Rather than focusing solely on maintaining superficial peace, we should actively strive to strengthen our capacity to face challenges together, transforming trials into opportunities to deepen our connection and celebrate the strength we find in each other. It is in this spirit that we build relationships that not only survive the storms, but flourish through them, honoring your will for our lives. Through a continuous perspective of improvement, the virtue of patience reveals itself as an indispensable component in the construction of lasting and meaningful bonds. In a world that extols instant gratification and efficiency at all costs, the practice of patience in our relationships may seem like an outdated concept. However, it is precisely this ability to wait, to endure others' flaws without hasty judgment, and to allow time to work in processes of healing and growth that distinguishes superficial connections from deeply rooted and resilient bonds. Patience manifests itself in various ways. It is the discernment to understand that the personal development of a loved one is a gradual process, full of ups and downs. It is the willingness to not give up on someone in the face of a stumble or a mistake, but rather to offer encouragement and time for the person to recover and learn. For instance, a father who patiently teaches his child to ride a bicycle, even after numerous falls, demonstrates this virtue. He does not become frustrated with the tumbles, but assists his child in getting up, adjusts the equipment, and reiterates the importance of persisting calmly. Furthermore, patience is essential in communication. How often does impatience in expressing our own opinion prevent us from attentively listening to what the other person has to say? Or conversely, impatience with the way someone communicates leads us to interrupt or disregard their message. Cultivating patience in listening means giving the other person the necessary space and time to articulate their thoughts and feelings, even if it demands a little more effort on our part. It is a sign of respect and appreciation for the interlocutor. Another important layer is recognizing that strong bonds require time to consolidate. Genuine intimacy, mutual trust, and deep understanding are not built overnight. They require consistent interactions, the sharing of experiences, both joyous and challenging, and the joint overcoming of obstacles. Impatience in this process can lead to unrealistic expectations or attempts to accelerate natural stages, compromising the solidity of the relational foundation being built. Imagine the patience required to cultivate a true friendship over decades, witnessing the changes in each other's lives and maintaining affection and connection, despite physical distances or different life phases. Consequently, patience is not passivity, but an active strength that chooses perseverance and understanding over impulsive reaction or discouragement. It empowers us to see beyond momentary imperfections, to recognize the potential for growth in others, and to invest in the relationship with the conviction that it can strengthen over time, and with dedicated care. It is a reflection of your own long-suffering towards us, Father, which encourages us to extend that same grace and perseverance to those who walk alongside us, thereby building relationships that honor your presence in our lives. As we navigate these reflections, we realize that the essence of truly blessed relationships lies not in a magic formula or unattainable perfection, but rather in the profound and continuous journey of cultivating fertile ground where love, understanding, and respect can flourish. It is akin to observing the intricate weaving of a precious tapestry. Each thread, in its unique color and texture, contributes to the beauty and strength of the whole. The nuances of communication, the delicacy of empathy, the courage of vulnerability, and resilience in the face of adversity all intertwine to form a harmonious pattern. From this perspective, the way we honor and value the uniqueness of each individual, while simultaneously strengthening the unity of the collective, emerges as a central pillar. Recognizing individual contributions, nurtured by sincere gratitude and expressed authentically, creates an environment where each person feels seen and appreciated, forming the bedrock for more resilient and enriching connections. It is an invitation to celebrate differences as instruments of strengthening, rather than as barriers to be carelessly surmounted. Upon introspectively considering the landscape of our interactions, it becomes evident that hope for thriving relationships cannot be a mere passive wish, but rather an active force that shapes our attitudes and daily choices. Embracing the inherent imperfections of human nature, coupled with open communication and a flexibility that welcomes change and learning, paves the way for deeper and more enduring bonds. This journey demands constant attention to the quality of our presence, a commitment to healing and restoration, and an appreciation for the path of mutual growth. As we approach the conclusion of this meditation, our accumulated understanding propels us toward a clearer vision of what it truly means to live and nurture connections that reflect love in its purest and most transformative form.